Betty, I'm going to bring you up into the conversation here. There you are. How are you doing
There,
tonight?
I am doing well. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. It's so great to have you on join us on the show tonight. I'm having internet connection issues. It seems to be coming and going, but I think
Well,
we seem to be okay. So this is good.
well, all of us are spending a lot more time on the internet nowadays now, aren't we?
I've heard that even that Netflix has changed some of their streaming rates now, so that because there's so much demand. So
Well,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
good to know.
Yeah, it's good to know. How are you doing?
We're doing well. My husband and I have been self-quarantining. We have come up on, I think we're entering our fourth week because we got a little bit of a head start, but not a spick of cold, so we're all set.
That's really great. I'm happy to hear that. Why don't you, just for the people out there in my community who might not know who Maud Betty is, tell me who tell me who Maud Betty is.
Sure. Well, my real name is Beth Lennon, and I am a person who has loved the roadside and the architecture and places to drive to pretty much almost as long as I've had my driver's license. I have taken pictures of diners and drive-in movie theaters and signs from, again, about the time I got my license and my camera, and it's something that has never left me. And now I have, fast forward a couple of years, let's say, I have started a website, retroroadmap.com, and published now five guidebooks to what I call cool vintage places and retro fun.
Well, I just put up on the screen one of those guidebooks, and I showed it at the beginning of the show. And you have five of them. You have right now.
I do, yep,
Wow.
yep.
So how did you get into this? Like, what inspired you? Is it just because you've always liked it, or tell me a little bit more about your background and what you've done with this? Because you've actually created a really unique website.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I have to say, I think it's because um, I was able to, once I had the keys to my car when I was a teenager and I got my driver's license and a camera, I finally was able to drive to and stop at those places that my parents would drive past while we were all in the back of the station wagon. So,
Yeah.
when you would see the place and say, oh, wouldn't it, doesn't that look fun? No, 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 we're not going to stop there. But once you have, and you know from riding your motorcycle, that autonomy to go where you want to and stop where you want to, I was able to discover what places I wanted to stop at. And I realized that, vintage diners with the porcelain enamel siding, neon signs, five and dimes when they still had Woolworths, places that were brightly colored, kind of 20th century commercial places that everybody could go to,
Mm-hmm.
that were also kind of fading into the past, were really what I loved to collect with my camera. And
Okay.
as the years would go on, I would realize that some places would stay around and other places sadly would close. And then I thought, well, what can I do to help these places survive? And since I love finding them and I love photographing them, if I share them on the internet with people, then other people know about them. And as one of my many sayings is, a rising tide floats all boats. If we all spend our money where in the places that we want to survive, then hopefully they'll survive. And I think right now in the real world, that's a wonderful case in point as well.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. I want to just tell the audience a little bit how we came across because it was sort of serendipitous. While I was doing my research, I was talking to Carolyn and George, who own the Caribbean Motel down in Wildwood, New Jersey, and they said, "Do you know this Maud Betty lady? She's really cool. You got to check her out." I said, "Okay, well, I will," and I put Maud Betty on the list of places of websites I would check out, and lo and behold. On your website is where I actually found the Lincoln Motor Court in Man's Choice, Pennsylvania. and was able to stay there as well. So both are featured in the book, and that's a really cool story. So our paths have sort of crossed a couple of times, and I'm so delighted that you could be with me today. I want to ask you though, how do you find all these destinations? Like you find all these unique diners, and you get into the foods, and you get into you go to the drive-ins. Like how do you find all these places?
Well, back in the day, it was a little bit more difficult than it is now. You know, kids these days with the internet. I I have a collection, easily 40 years worth of books of roadside places. And then, frankly, one of my favorite parts of this is that hunt and the find. So I will get tips from people, but I will also, anytime we're going anywhere, I will look online. I will check my books. I will look at my vintage postcards to see if there was an old diner or an old motel there. One of the things that people crack up that I say that I do, which is true, is when I will look at Yelp or TripAdvisor, but I'm very infrequently looking at the actual food they have in front of me,
Mm-hmm.
out in front of them. I will look for a vintage countertop, or even in the back, I found a wonderful reserved vintage diner that had been covered over because in Yelp somebody had taken a picture, and I can see these great vintage bar stools or counter stools in the back. So I will be like Nancy Drew, and I will take a clue and I will run with it. So I love that. It gets me so excited to kind of discover these hidden gems.
That's so cool. What do you think is going to? What do you think the future holds for a lot of these places? You too must be concerned as I am. With the devastation that we are literally living through. That has, I don't think, ever been lived through. Even the Spanish flu didn't hit people as hard as it is economically. What do you think the future holds?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball, I will say, and so this is my hope. I don't know what will happen, but what I hope is that this situation that we're all in globally will remind people what's important to them and remind people to spend their money where their heart is. And so if they love the mom and pop shops near them, that's where they're spending their money now. And if they're closed down, that they remember to go there to shop.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I was on a Zoom call earlier with some friends too, and the topic of international travel came up. And even this friend of mine who's an international traveler says she's a bit wary of going, outside. So maybe this is an opportunity for people in the U.S. to rediscover some of these wonderful treasures that we have, and in Canada, of course. Things that may be hidden in plain sight, or they're in your backyard, so you always, took them for granted, but now's your time to go. Drive the Lincoln Highway out to Bedford and Man's, Choice, and go and finally do what you said and stay at the Lincoln Motor Court, do those things. So I'm hoping it brings out the best in people, that it reminds people what's important to them, and that they know that they need to support it to keep them alive.
Yeah, I've been in the travel industry a really long time, and I think we haven't seen anything like this. I mean, I went through 9/11. I went through some pretty devastating economic recessions. Nothing to this point. I believe what we're going to see is when the cuffs are taken off and people are allowed to go back out and travel again. I think what we're going to see is people going out to do a lot more regional travel. I think motels are going to do very well. I think diners and restaurants will rebound, but I think the motels will do well, and I think motels will do well specifically because you can drive up to the door and you can avoid lobbies and people. I think there's still going to be an aversion for to be in areas where there's lots
Yeah.
of people. Drive-in theaters, I expect, will make a comeback. People are going to want to go to the drive-in, and they're going to want to be able to stay in their car and in the safety of their car, or the perceived safety of their car. So I'm optimistic that once we do, I am concerned about the international travel element, and I think that is an area for those watching and those paying attention. I do have on April 21st. I'm just going to make a plug for my show on April 21st. I expect I'll still be having a show on April 21st, unfortunately. But the president and CEO of Eagle Rider is going to be joining me on that. And Eagle Rider is a large motorcycle rental company throughout the United States, and they rely heavily upon Europeans and foreigners to come in and rent motorcycles. So I'll be very curious. We'll be to when we sit down with him to talk about the future of his business and what that might look like and how he's changing and what the adaptations are. But anyway, to the point. Now let's have some fun here. Let's talk about the Caribbean Motel, something you loved, and I know it was near and dear to your heart. I loved it too. I talked about it in my book, but I'd like you to tell the audience a little bit about it.
All right, you're breaking up just a little bit, but I think if you can hear me,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about the Caribbean Motel. And you mentioned that it was in your book, and if I may do just a quick plug, so my book of South Jersey, I love it so much I put it on the cover. So to me, I often say this when I do presentations, and I dare anybody to correct me, but I feel like the Caribbean Motel in Wildwood, New Jersey, is the creme de la creme of the mid-century modern motels, literally on the East Coast. And I say that because Wildwood itself has, even though so many have been knocked down, still has the highest percentage of mid-century modern motels, I think, in the world. And the owners, Carolyn and George, just see the value, and they see what there's such history there, and they've taken the time to appreciate it and really just accent what it is already. It's this wonderful kind of angular yet fun, as I said, mid-mod Betty, as I like to call myself when I get to mid-century. This is one of my favorite places, and it really is. It just shows people what you can do to. You don't have to hang up pictures of Marilyn and Elvis. You just shine up what you already have, and it's just a beautiful, fun way to kind of escape back into that time of family vacations at the shore.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it, and I think you nailed it exactly that. And Carolyn and George, two of the most wonderful people, warm and engaging, and they'll talk your ear off. They're just beautiful people.
Yeah.
Now let's talk real quickly. I want to just ask about our friends at Deb and Bob over at the Lincoln Motor Court Inn in Man's Choice.
Yeah. Now, I love them because I have been doing, for these past couple of weeks, much like you, trying to connect up with my audience, I've been doing some Facebook Lives on the Retro Roadmap Facebook page. And I noticed that every time I'm able to find a motor court in any state, I just get so excited because they are so infrequently found. And I often refer to them as little monopoly houses.
Yeah.
And to me, the going to the Lincoln Motor Court is again that step back in time where everybody's got their own little house you could stay in, and the way again that they have honored the history. You go in and there's that wonderful wooden paneling and the quilts on the bed and the old timey music. And when people used to just drive the Lincoln Highway and go out west, and those were the places you'd stop, and the fact that they are keeping that history of America in our travel to get, continuing. I just try to champion those mom and pops, and if I can step on my soapbox and let more people know about them, and then they find out, then the 12 cabins at the Lincoln Motor Court are filled, and the Altisers are happy, and so are people like you and me who just love the roadside.
Now, I want to just finish off with one more thing. You're doing a Facebook Live twice a week, and on your Facebook page. But what is your website? It's retroroadmap.com, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to put it up here so everybody can see it. It's retroroadmap.com. I strongly encourage you to go check it out. Join Mod Betty. What are the 2 days for your Facebook Live?
So I do a Facebook Live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's awesome.
And we talk about the cool vintage places in each state. I show people some of the things I've collected, Q&As, try to connect, have some sense of community on the internet while we're all, going through this kind of alone but together.
Beth, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really, really appreciate it.
You're
And
welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
I'll see you on your next Facebook Live. I'll be hanging out as well.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
Have a great night. Take care
You
now.
too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.